Members, welcome back for the second session for the day. And we have here Seema Mehta, who was the past convener of our JB Nagar Study Circle, and I have the pleasure task of introducing her. She is a proprietor of Seema V Mehta and Company and has been practicing since 2001 in the areas of income tax, corporate tax, GST, FEMA, transfer pricing, and certification under Section 195. She's a chartered accountant qualified in May 92 and also an alumnus of IIM Bangalore. Her professional achievement includes she was a nominated member of Professional Development Committee for 23-24, nominated member of International Tax Committee in 22-23, and as you know, she was the convener in the year 2021, the COVID year, and she has done a very well job in those year where there was no physical meetings practically. 15-16, she was nominated the co-opted member of the Women Empowerment Committee of ICI and other various committee in the previous years. She also been felicitated by the Muscat Chamber of ICI as the Women Financial Controller, and her story has been featured in the book Swing, which is the stories of women inspiring a new generation, as one of the 35 women CS. With her, let us welcome her with a loud applause. And I request Nidhi and Lina to please present her memento. Madam, please welcome. So without wasting further time, let's start the session. Second one.
Thank you, Chintan, for the nice introduction. Today, I will be presenting on Softex certification for non-Stpi units applicable to software service exporters. So the terms Softex certification, non-Stpi units, and software service exporters are very important that we need to understand. Actually, Stpi is the autonomous body set up by the government of India to promote export trade. And we have Stpi as well as SEZ also. Stpi is mainly for Softex related services and to promote software export. And SEZ, SEZ is mainly covers all the goods and services, including IT services. So my presentation includes okay. Today I will cover regulation of export trade. What are the regulations are there as per FEMA to regulate the Softex related export trade? Meaning and scope of software. What is Softex? Services other than software export, eligibility criteria and precautions, Registration means for certification, for Softex certification, there is a registration process that we need to comply. That I will explain in brief. Then how Softex filing process we need to follow. Then Softex mechanics, how it works, how the RBI authorized dealer, STPI, DGFT work to regulate export trade. Consequences for non-filing of Softex forms and penalties for not filing the Softex forms as per the FEMA, and suggested actions what we need to do if you have not filed the Softex forms till now. So we will go one by one. Regulation of export trade. Generally, the regulated authority is DGFT, Directorate General of Foreign Trade. You all must be aware that IEC code, import export code, is issued by DGFT. So all the export related services, DGFT is the main regulated body. DGFT operates under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, specifically under Department of Commerce and Government of India. DGFT announces policies and procedures for exports from India periodically. AD banks means the banks which we submit all the documents related to our business. AD banks are authorized to conduct export transactions in accordance with foreign trade policy, rules framed under Government of India, directions issued by Reserve Bank of India from time to time. Now, as per the FEMA export of services, what are the requirements and which section it governs actually? The section 7 of the FEMA is for export of goods and services, and section 7(3) are for exporter of services. Every exporter of services shall furnish a declaration to the Reserve Bank of India or other designated authorities. And the declaration should be in the prescribed form. And which are the services? The exporter of software services is to declare the value of the services. This declaration must be submitted to the specified authority, and the specified authority is STPI or SEZ. The RBI requires certification of export value by the specified authority to monitor payment realization, because against each invoice, the payment should be, whether there is an inward remittance against that invoice or not, that the generally RBI is to monitor through AD Bank. The designated authority is director of STPI, who certifies the Softex forms. Now, RBI Master Circular 2013-14 dated 1st July and Master Direction dated 1st January 2016 says that the companies engaged in software export through data communication link must submit the Softex form. The units involved in IT and ITES services. So we have to understand what is IT services and what are ITES services. Those I will explain in the coming slides. File the Softex form. Units involved in IT and ITES services required to file Softex form with Software Technology Park of India. STPI was set up in 1991 as an autonomous society under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, with the main objective of promotion of software exports from the country. Units located in domestic tariff area has to register themselves as non-STPI units and file Softex form accordingly. So this means that all the entities exporting software, irrespective of the value, have to register themselves as non-STPI unit and file the Softex forms. Non-STPI units are not eligible for special benefits which are offered to STPI units under STPI scheme, such as infrastructure support, duty-free import, financial incentives, tax exemptions, etc. But it is more of a compliance nature. They have to follow this Softex certification process and register register with the STPI. Now we will understand the meaning and scope of the software. As per the definition, Regulation 2(8) of Export of Goods and Services Regulation 2015, it defines software as any computer program, database, drawing, design, audio-visual signals, or any information shared by the medium other than the physical form. The definition gives a comprehensive and includes all kinds of software that may be shared in any medium other than in physical form. So if only the software services are given and those are not shared with the data communication link, then those services are not covered for Softex certification. Software services can generally be classified as IT service and ITES service. IT service includes it is related to information technology services, which includes system software development, data analytics, cloud technology, customer relationship management solution, web mobile application, system integration, networking, etc. And ITES services includes data entry and processing services, engineering, design services, business process services, healthcare services, legal and content writing services, IT education training services, etc. In this case, there is no physical movement of goods. Owners to prove that the software services are provided lies with the exporter. So the main document which we can prove that the services are exported are FIRC, EBRC, Electronic Bank Realization Certificate, invoice, service agreement entered with the foreign client. In this case, so I mentioned that not all the services require Softex certification. So if it is only a export of service, any service other than Softex, then you need not have to file Softex registration. But how you will prove that the export inward remittance is there against each invoice? In that case, on the basis of IRM, and at that time you have to give the purpose code to the bank, that this is the purpose code against which the inward remittance has come, and the invoice and IRM AD Bank submit inward remittance certificate to DGFT, and then DGFT gives us EBRC, Electronic Bank Reconciliation Certificate. The procedure for this I will explain in the coming slides. Now, applicability of Softex. With this diagram, we can understand that export involves sending goods and services to the clients in foreign countries for sale. Physical goods are shipped through ports like seaport, airports, or foreign post offices, for which actually this type of export is monitored by Central Customs Department, and so Softex is not required to be given. Then software through physical mediums such as CDs, DVDs, magnetic tape. In this case also, there is no data. There is no data transferred through data communication, and so Softex is not required. For IT services, the list which are listed in the previous slides, and ITES services, through those services for which the data is communicated or transferred through data communication link, in those cases we require Softex certification, and we have to apply for the Softex form in the Softex form, and we have to give Softex certification for those services. For software export, the Softex form must be filed after actual export of software has occurred. It is not the means first we have to take software certification and then we have to do Softex export. It is not like that. The Softex form acts as a post facto authorization for software export. Now we have understood. Now we have understood that what is export trade and what is the scope of software, the meaning of the software. We also understood what is the STPI units, and now we are now what is I am not now explain what is the Softex. Definition of Softex. Softex is a certification process introduced by the Indian government to streamline and facilitate software exports. The primary object of the Softex certification is to monitor and regulate foreign exchange transactions and to give formal recognition to software service exporters, making them eligible for various benefits and concessions like tax exemptions, duty-free imports, etc., to keep track of this export and to promote export. Once Softex form is certified, so export is classified as export of software under foreign trade policy, as it will be a service export only, and it will be considered as a general service and not the software export. Services other than software export. Means for services other than software export, Softex certification is not required. So, according to RBI guidelines, there is a distinct category of computer and information technology exports that does not fall under Softex export, that is software export. It is not applicable for software certification. Softex certification is not required for computer and information services where software or data is not shared through data communication links. The examples of such services are hardware consultancy, software consultancy, data processing, which is not through data communication link, only data is processed, repairs and maintenance of computer and software, subscription services for newspapers and periodicals, and news agency services. For all these services, the purpose code is different. For software export, generally we give P0807 as the purpose code while at the time of inward remittance. And for all these services, we generally the purpose code starts from P0801 to P0806. So while realizing the money against the invoices, one should be careful what purpose code one should give. If we give the purpose code 0802, it is only for Softex services and not it is only for general services for which Softex is not required. Then we may get the remittance, there is no problem. But there is a there is if it mismatches with the GST compliance, then there will be a problem. I will explain this in detail in the coming slide. Though for service exports, means for these services, there is no declaration to be filed under current notification, though it is proposed in the draft regulation. Currently, it is not required, but in draft, we have to find this thing. So, it is proposed in the draft regulation. Eligibility criteria for non-STPI units. Now, non-STPI units that engage in the export of software services are eligible to apply for Softex certification. Now, who can apply? Who can apply, and who should apply for the certification? Any entity. Any legal entity has to apply for the Softex certification. Any company, partnership firm, proprietorship, which is into development of software-oriented computer software or IT-enabled services can register itself as non-STP unit under STPI to avail Softex certification. As against this, STPI, under STPI registered units, which are in the STPI location, only Indian company, subsidiary of foreign company or branch office of foreign company is eligible to become STP unit. But for non-STPI unit, all the entities are covered. Softex developed in India. The Softex should be developed in India and not developed outside India. The Softex developed outside India is not eligible for Softex certification under Indian export laws. exported directly to foreign countries. The software must be exported directly to foreign clients or markets, not routed through the intermediaries. Now, what precautions one should take for Softex exports in general? First, we have to apply for IEC code, that is Import-Export Code. It is a 10-digit code issued by DGFT and mandatory for all exporters, including software export. It is generally a PAN number of the entity. Zero rated supply under GST. You all know that all services which are exported are zero rated services, and for that we have to apply for LUT, and it can be exported without payment of IGST. Generally, we choose the SAC code while filing the GST return. And what SAC code we choose? Can one answer? I have given it actually, but we choose 998313 or 998314. If it is related to Softex form or software export, then we have to choose 998314. And if it is for services, then we have to choose 998313. So if we choose, while filing GST return, if we choose 998314, which is IT design and development of software services, and at the time of remittance, inward remittance, if we choose other than what I have mentioned, P0807 purpose code, then there will be a problem, because this is not up till now there is no link between the GST software and RBI inward remittance or Softex or whatever. There is no linkage, but in the coming time there may be a link and there may be a problem. So one should be careful while selecting the purpose code while at the time of inward remittance for Softex related services. What are the benefits and opportunities for non-STPI units? It is a regulated, actually for non-STPI unit, it is more of a compliance requirement, but the penalties are high. So one should comply with the requirement, with the Softex certification requirement. It is a regulatory clarity. Softex certification brings the regulatory level of regulatory clarity for non-STPI units. Export recognition. The certification allows non-STPI units to gain formal recognition for their exports. Access to the export incentives. If there is any government schemes for non-STPI units, then one can access for that. Enhance international credibility. Streamline export process. Softex process simplifies export documentation, making international transactions easier and more compliant with legal regulations. GST refund processing. As I have said in the earlier slide, if we select the code while filing the GST return as 998314, and if we at the time of inward remittance, if we choose other than the purpose code mentioned in the slide, then the GST officer will come to know that this is export related, this is a software export, and he might delay the refund, or he might not give the refund, or he may ask for the Softex declarations. So this Softex certification is very important for GST, for claiming the ITC GST refund. I will explain the registration procedure in brief and the compliance related to registration and renewal of the Softex certification. Non-STP units must register with STPI by submitting an application form and the required documents to the director of STPI. What are the different types of documents one need to submit at the time of application? Company profile, 3 years projections, of the company for the export of software. Director's profile, bank AD, authorized dealer code, declaration. This AD code generally bank gives on their letterhead, and that we have to submit to the at the time of registration. Address proof we need to submit MOA and AOA, IC code, and board resolution and MSA are some of the documents that we have to submit with the application. And please note that the address on the IC code with the company, with the GST, all should be in sync. There should not be any mistake in the address. Even if there is a mistake of one word, then also some Stpi authorities ask to amend the IC code or whatever the certificate of GST. Certificate, then we have to pay the registration charges at the time of application, rupees 1,000 plus GST, and it is through online mode. Certificate of registration. After verifying all the order documents, Stpi center gives the issues the certificate, and this is valid for 3 years. And renewal must be applied for at least 3 months before the expiry. Reporting requirements: monthly process report, monthly progress report, and annual performance report must be submitted to the respective Stpi centers. Softex certification eligibility. Registered non-STP unit then has to is entitled to submit Softex forms for certification as per RBI guidelines. Export contracts must be registered before submitting the corresponding Softex forms. Service charges. Service charges are based on the value of export. We have to estimate the export of service, value of export of service during the year. Suppose we have estimated around 9 crore as the value of export. Then we have to pay 1,10,000 plus GST. After deducting TDS, we have to pay to the Stpi. And if suppose during the year the limit crosses 10 crores, then we have to pay the balance amount, means 2,25,000. 2,25,000 less 1,10,000, the balance amount we have to pay. The cost of compliance of the Softex filing for non-STPI proves to be significantly lower than the consequences of non-compliance, because the penalties are heavy, which can also there will be other regulatory challenges also. Now, in brief, Softex filing process. The procedure related to Softex filing is given in the Master Circular number 14, 2013-14, and read with the Master Direction on Export of Goods and Services. Softex declaration to STPI for certification. The exporter of service is required to make a declaration in Softex form online, not later than 30 days from the date of invoice or date of last invoice raised in the month. Then actually before submitting the Softex form, we have to generate Softex numbers from the RBI side. Both single and bulk numbers can be generated online. As for the FEMA requirement, the exporter must complete the Softex form using these numbers given by the RBI website, generated from the RBI website. Documents, what documents we need to submit for Softex certification? Service export invoice, internet bills, service contract, letter from RBI for generated software numbers. Then after verifying these documents, STPI issues Softex form. Softex mechanics means how it actually operates, means how the DGFT, AD, and RBI and STPI are linked together, and at the time of realization, how they monitor the inward remittance through EDPMS system. First, exporter has to submit certified Softex form along with the foreign inward remittance advice, invoice, and the request letter to the bank. Actually, in case of import and export of in case of export of software services, Now the bank is giving foreign inward remittance advice and not foreign inward remittance certificate. So this foreign inward remittance advice then the data submitted through Softex form shall be transmitted electronically from Stpi to RBI. The data received by RBI will be made available in the EDPMS system portal through which the bankers can access the said information to match the inward remittance of export proceeds. So then EBRC issuance, and then based on the foreign inward remittance advice, bank used to give EBRC certificate, means electronic bank realization certificate. But with effect from this 15th November 2023, banks are required to transmit only the advice to the DGFT, and DGFT now is issuing the EBRC. Exporter can download the EBRC from DGFT portal. So this part is applicable to software exporters as well as service exporters. For both, in both the cases, you can means bank gives inward remittance advice to DGFT, and from DGFT portal we have to download the EBRC certificate. EBRC certificate is the confirmation document that verifies payment receipt against export and trade transactions and links the invoice raised for services rendered to the remittance received. So then the inward remittance and invoice and the foreign inward remittance advice will get linked with each other. And in case of Softex, then the Stpi also send the information to RBI. Then RBI put into the EDPMS system, and the and then the bank has to knock off that EDPMS data, and then all the inward remittance and process gets completed. So consequences for not filing of Softex. If a Softex form is not filed, the remittance received will be treated as general services rather than software export proceeds. This can adversely affect the business entity's ability to claim previous export performance for participation in tenders related to software projects, because you will get the remittance under general services and not under export performance. And the objectives of the company, the transfer pricing report, and GST record, that all should be synced actually. If in the transfer pricing report, if you are saying that it is a export of services and you are realizing your remittances under general services, then it will not be right. So at the time of audit also you need to check all these things and get it regularized. Zero rated GST supply. This I have explained earlier. Exporters are allowed to export goods or services without payment of IGST by filing letter of undertaking. However, when RBI and GST database are eventually linked, non-filing of Softex forms may cause the complications. GST refund claims, that I have explained this. Tax authorities require submission of Softex forms for processing these refunds, and non-filing could delay or prevent these refunds. Sometimes there may be a freezing of bank account. Suppose at the time of realization, if one is not aware about the purpose code, and if we give the purpose code as 0807 and it is offsite software development, then at the time of realization and matching of the invoice, AD Bank will ask for the Softex forms, and if we are not given the Softex form after the reminders, banks can freeze the account of the entities if the Softex form is not filed. Penalties for non-filing of Softex forms. Penalty for breaching any rules, regulations, notification, directions, or orders issued under the FEMA non-submission of Softex form amounts violation to the FEMA regulation 2015. A penalty up to 3 times of the amount involved in the contravention, or if the amount is not quantifiable, then up to 2 lakhs is levied under section 13(1) of the FEMA Act. Further, the unit may also be subject to a continuous penalty, which may extend to 5,000 for every day after the first day during which the contravention continues. Okay, now everyone knows that no one has filed the Softex. What now? What we should do now? I have not filed the Softex up till now. Then what I can do? Should I start filing now or not? Why it is necessary now? No one, even bank, is not asking. But I explained to you why bankers are not asking, because you are giving the purpose code which suits you, and so bank doesn't come to know that you have Softex export and all these things. The reason is that based on the discussion with the banks, actually, I discussed all these things with the bankers and also Stpi authorities. It has become clear that filing Softex, and as per the regulations explained earlier, so filing Softex form may be required for all software export cases involving IT and ITES, particularly those shared through data communication links. Current status of RBI penalties. As of now, the RBI is not imposing monetary penalties for not filing of the Softex forms. However, this could change in future as systems are becoming more stringent. Potential future impact in 2 to 3 years, there might be scenario where the RBI starts sending notices to all software exporters for not filing of Softex forms. So it is advised to start filing Softex forms now to ensure compliance and avoid potential issues, and also from the financial statements angle, all should be in a sync, because you are MSA means you have to generally. So in software export, you enter into the MSA with the foreign client, and in that you mentioned that we are giving the Softex export service and all these things, ITES service, data processing service through data communication link and all these things. And while realizing, you are not realizing as a software Softex code, purpose code. Then in the financial reporting, in memorandum of association also, if the object clause is different and the purpose code of the inward remittance is different, that might be cause a problem. So it is while doing statutory audit also, one should take the note of this. So mandatory filing of Softex. Filing Softex form is mandatory for the export of computer software, including audio, video, and television software, unless it is in the physical medium. Exemption for non-software services. As explained in the previous slide, services that are not classified as software exports are not required to file Softex forms. Requirement for DTA units. Units operating outside Stpi or SEZ must register with themselves as non-Stpi unit and start complying with the Softex certification. So thank you. If there is any questions, then I'm happy to answer. It is internet. Yes.
That covers up everything.
Everything. So only consultancy related services are not covered under Softex. All other services are covered under Softex. Marketing, etc., that I have explained, the hardware consultancy and all these things, they are not covered. But
but the code is if I assume code is wrong, then
you can amend that, no, with the AD will amend that code and issue us the new certificate. So there is no problem. Sorry?
Inbound, outbound, or making it
That is whether any data is shared through the data communication link, then also it is applicable. So
Cold calling, cold emails, could wait, no? Data is not changed. Cold calling.
That I need to check actually, because I'm not very sure about this service. Yeah, they are applicable to non-STPI, and on the basis of the uh, estimated value of service during the year, you have to pay those service charges to the at the time of after registration, you have to pay those service charges.
Maximum amount of penalty is not different. It's only.
RBI has not started levying penalty right now.
We have not defined the maximum amount.
It is size amount involved.
2 lakhs to be. Like different type, not quantifiable, then 2 lakhs. So if quantifiable, then we don't know. Yes.
If there are any other questions, then I will.
What is direct purpose?
Purpose code for offsite software development is 0807. That we are taking the certificate FIRs.
Back office accounting.
Sorry,
Accounting service, back office accounting service.
it is not, but it is ITS service, no? It will come under ITS service, and then you will share those services through data communication link only, no? So it is applicable. Actually, this is exhaustive, means most of the services which you are doing, other than only consultancy and service related, which I have explained in that slide number 9. Other than those, everything is covered. Even data processing, if you are sharing certain data after process data on the data communication, then it is also come under the Softex certification. Okay. My next topic is, this is a small topic. Foreign liabilities and asset annual return. We are going to cover what is FLA and its applicability, who needs to file FLA returns, companies exempted from filing FLA return, uses of FLA data, due date of filing, penalty for late filing, FLAIR portal, procedure for registration on FLAIR portal, and procedure for filing FLA return. Now, more companies involve themselves with foreign investments. The importance of foreign exchange management and regulations and their compliance becomes a major part of compliance or companies' operations. One such compliance requirement is submission of FLA. It is a foreign liability asset annual return. This applies to companies involved in FDI, means foreign direct investment, and ODI, overseas direct investments. The FLA annual return should cover all foreign investments made by or received by the company, and should be submitted directly to the Reserve Bank of India. This annual return we have to submit to the Reserve Bank of India.
This is applicable only to companies or any other entity?
This is applicable to these entities only. My next slide is that only. What is FLA and its applicability? FLA return under Foreign Exchange Management Act is annual return that must be submitted by the foreign entities, Indian resident companies, LLPs, partnership firms, SEBI registered alternative investment funds, public-private partnerships, branches of trustees. The return is mandatory for entities that have received FDI or made ODI during the previous years, including the current year. The FLA return falls under FEMA regulatory framework, which provides comprehensive oversight of India's foreign exchange and cross-border financial transactions. In case of partnership firms, generally investment in partnership firm is allowed only on non-repatriable basis, under automatic route. But under approval route, you may get under repatriable basis. In that case only, you have to file FLA. And for filing FLA, SIN number is required. And if it is a partnership firm, then you can ask RBI to give temporary SIN. RBI issues SIN number and you have to file the FLA return. And then this SIN number is used for each year to file FLA return. In case of SEBI registered alternative investment fund also, the FLAIR portal form is not applicable. You have to write RBI through email and RBI will give you the Excel based template and you have to submit the FLA return through email. Okay, for individuals, it is not applicable. Because the FLA return is applicable for these entities. So even if the individual has invested in ODI in the overseas entities, then also though he has to file ODI form and APR returns and all these things, but he need not have to submit FLA return.
Individuals receiving foreign direct.
For individuals, FLA return is not applicable.
How much they can receive foreign direct investment? But flies.
RBI approval is required for individuals receiving FDI on repatriable basis. No, it is required. No, FDI is not. No, it is not there. For company and LLP, we can
Eligible to
receive FDI. Yes, right. They are not eligible. Sorry. No, if alternate investment.
Annual performance report.
They have to. Yeah.
He's asking what is the form required to be filed by an individual. The answer would be API.
API ODI form with that all forms related to outbound investment they need to file. Who needs to file FLA annual return? Of course, who made the investment, ODI investment and FDI investment. Reporting requirements. Companies must report foreign liabilities and asset for the current financial years and outstanding assets and liabilities from the previous years. If the company does not have any foreign assets or liabilities for the current year, but has outstanding FDI or ODI from the previous years, then it has to file FLA return indicating the outstanding assets and liabilities. Partnership firms are required to file FLA return. I have explained this. Okay, WSIN has already been issued. The same SIN should be used for subsequent FLA filing. Which are the companies exempted from filing FLA return? If there is no ODI, FDI or ODI, then of course one should not have to file FLA return. Shares issued on non-repatriable basis. When suppose non-Indian residents have invested in the company from NRO account, which is on non-repatriable basis, in that case, FLA return need not have to file. No outstanding FD or ODI by the year end. If non-resident shareholder has sold all the shares to the Indian residents within the reporting period, there is no outstanding balance of FD or ODI by the end of the financial year. So you need not have to file FLA return because the invested capital cannot be converted back to the foreign currency and taken out of the country. Only share application money is received, then also FLA return is not applicable. You do not have to file. What is the uses of FLA data? Researchers and economists and analysts use FLA data to analyze trends in foreign investments, assess the impact of policies, conduct studies related to India's external sector. The data contributes to India's balance of payment and external debt statistics. FLA data helps in managing India's external debt. It used to assess the country's vulnerability to global economic fluctuations. The data is valuable for Reserve Bank of India in managing foreign exchange reserves. It supports informed decision-making regarding exchange rate policies. Accurate FLA reporting aids in maintaining economic stability. It ensures better integration with the global economy. The data enables monitoring of FDI and foreign portfolio investments in India. Regulatory compliance, filing FLA returns ensures compliance with mandatory reporting requirements for specified Indian entities. It helps to avoid penal provisions. What is the due date for filing FLA return? FLA return must be filed by 15th of July every year. If the accounts are not finalized, then you have to file FLA return on provisional account. And if there is a variance between the provisional and audited accounts, then you have to file the revised FLA return. There is no strict deadline for filing revised return. However, it should be filed at the earliest. If there are any corrections, that it must notify promptly to the Reserve Bank of India and make necessary amendments if errors are identified after submission. Penalty for late filing of FLA return. Filing of FLA return late or failing to file can result in penalties under FEMA. Late submission fees 7,500. This is as per the circular number 29 2017 and AP circular number 16 September 30th 2022, and this is applicable to filing late FCGP or FCTRS. If we file late, then the same penalty is applicable, 7,500. And for violations, if it fails to file or file false information, then the monetary penalty up to 300% of the amount involved in the violation, a minimum penalty of 2 lakhs if the violation amount is not quantifiable. And if there is a continued non-compliance, then a daily penalty of INR 5,000 may be enforced for each day the violation persists after the initial detection. And if there is a non-compliance and if the FLA return is not filed up to 3 years, then you can pay the penalty. Means RBI levies the penalty amounting to 7,500. And but if the FLA return is not filed for 3 years, then you have to go for the compounding of the contravention with the RBI. Different account and closing period. This may be applicable in case of ODI investment. If the account closing period differs from the standard March closing, the information should be reported for reference period, means previous March and latest March, based on the company's internal assessment. Filing after due date. Companies can file FLA return even after due date or previous years by obtaining RBI approval from the Reserve Bank of India. Approval request must be sent via email to surveyfla@rbi.org.in. Even if you want to file the return for registered alternative investment funds or partnership firms, and if you require SIN number for that, then also you have to communicate on this surveyfla@rbi.org, and you will get the reply accordingly. Modification or deletion of FLA return. Companies can delete, modify FLA return after obtaining RBI approval. Online reporting of FLA. Now there is a shift to online portal to enhance data security and improve data quality. The previous email-based reporting system for FLA return submission has been replaced by online reporting portal, web-based system. The foreign liabilities and asset reporting system was introduced by RBI through a notification dated June 28, 2019. procedure for registration on Flare portal. This is the first you have to access the Flare portal and you have to create the FLA user registration form. You have to set up the business user. You have to click on the registration form and fill the entity details first: corporate identification number, company name, PAN number, registered address with the PIN code, contact details. If there is any changes in SIN number, registration number, then you have to tick there yes or no. Provide authorized person information. Enter the details of the authorized person, including name, PAN number, contact information. Then you have to upload the verification letter and authority letter and copies of the PAN card for the entity and authorized person. And for verification and authority letter, there is a fixed format that you have to download from the Flare portal, and you have to make changes accordingly and upload the same. There are 5 sections for filing FLA return online. There are one has to file basic details, financial details, foreign investment, foreign assets, and variation report. One can I have given the form. One can the filing is simple, and you can download the manual and file the and you can file the this FLA return online. In financial details section, basic details are same, so you can file accordingly. There is no person, no, not much difficult. You have to save the draft after each section and then validate and go to the next session. That you have to remember. And all the figures are rupees in lakhs, that you have to keep in mind. Otherwise, the form will be wrong. So in section 2, the financial details are to be given. In section 3, foreign liabilities details are to be given. The form is simple to fill, so one can take the help of the manual and fill the form. There is no problem. Foreign assets means in case of overseas direct investment, you have to fill section 4. And the last is variation report. Variation report. This is auto-generated comparison report. This section generates a report comparing the current year's data with the previous year's data. It highlights any variation between the 2 periods. The variation report is auto-generated and cannot be manually edited by the company. Ensures detailed and organized reporting of foreign engagements by the Indian entities to the RBI. Before final submission, companies can download a draft of the FLA return. This allows for review and verification to ensure all information is accurate and complete. Then after submission, upon successful submission, a Flare portal will generate the acknowledgement confirming the FLA return has been processed successfully for the reporting period. Registered email ID is very critical in this because it receives password and OTP required for each login item. So you should ensure that email ID is entered correctly. If there is any change in the entity's email ID name during the reporting period, deactivate the current account by emailing the survey@rbi.org.in and create new account. If the SIN and registration number is same, then previously entered data will automatically populate in the new account. This facilitates the update process for the current year. For filing FLA return, gather necessary documents, means financial statements, that all the data should be in sync with the financial statements. Then PAN card, registration certificate, previous year's FLA return you have to check and then fill accordingly. Access details, login credentials for RBI portal, one-time password for each time will be generated. Use user manual provided on the portal for registration process as well as filing step-by-step guidance. Double check with the entries, tally with the all financials, and then avoid inaccuracies, prevent penalties or the need for letter corrections, reconcile with the other reports, and then submit the FLA return. So, thank you. This ends my person. If there are any questions, I can take it. Yes. Thank you.
Is there any data sharing happening between the RBI and NCA to find out whether the audited financial statements were filed after the provision? Any way that they can find it out?
I don't think right now it is happening because it is generally for the purpose of compiling the data and which is used by the various researchers and data compiling and for to manage the foreign exchange reserves and all these things and to know basically what are the exposure to the foreign liabilities. So the purpose of FLA is this actually.
In the future, is it possible that they might?
They might because everything is linked now, so they might. But FLA return is compulsory and one must file it. Yeah.
Is it applicable for NRI, non-resident shareholders? For example,
Shareholders need not have to file. Only companies, LLPs.
NRI shareholder has to file or?
That I have explained. No? If NRI, non-resident Indians, invested through NRO account and the investment is on non-repatriable basis, means if you have not filed FCGPR at the time of investment, then that company need not have to file FLA return. Okay, thank you.
May I request Megha Safle to please give a formal vote of thanks to today's speaker.
Thank you, ma'am, for very nice sessions. She has explained us about the Softex, its applicability to STPI, non-STPI units very well about its process, and she also make us aware about its future complications. Though it is applicable from last 10 years, so we are not taking it seriously. But in future, what will be the complications about the same? So she has enlightened us in advance. As well, she has also explained very well about the FLA returns and all to whom it is applicable or not. So she has enlightened us very nicely. And on behalf of JB Nagar CS Study Circle, I am very much thankful to her and request everyone to give her loud. Thank you.